Live. Oh, we're live. We are alive. We are alive and well. Hey, everybody, wait a minute. Let me adjust this thing here. I was arguing with the guy on one of the other pages about football. Of course, the Titans have been out of it for a month. We quit playing football a month ago, and now we're just down to betting on whoever else shows up and does all that. Um, let's see here. Getting drivers and carriers. All right, let me get on the right page over here so I can see some comments. Hopefully. Yeah. Mara, about damn time, says Mara. Standing on a corner, Mara. Standing on a corner in Winslow, Arizona. Such a fine sight to see. It's a girl, my lord, in a big red Ford, slowing down to take a look at me. That's the song. That's the song. So Shane, what you should know is Mara posted a while ago, and she said, "I'm in Winslow, Arizona," and I said, "Are you standing on a corner?" She said, "That's my other job." So I had to remind her of the song. That's my other job. Are you froze? No, I'm not froze. I'm in the house. I am in the house. Thank you very much. A couple of small announcements. We got our buddy Brown Ox, as you might know him, or Van Brown, as we all know and love him, with Bull Snot. You ain't supposed to be telling my secrets. Well, you put it on social media. I didn't. Anyway, we got Brown Ox in Circle C, and you guys know. Wait a minute. Hold it. You guys know that. Well, where'd it go? That I am a big supporter of Circle C trucks and equipment. There we go. Anyway, we got that in their Chrome shop starting this week. It's their newest place. So if you're in Tompkinsville, Kentucky, and you go to Circle C for your parts and your chrome and all that, you'll see Bull Snot sitting right by the front door. So we got that going. What else we got going? Oh, I want to say one thing seriously, on a serious note, before Shane and I get started. And that is, and I knew the song, I Was Being Facetious, whatever that means. Okay, good. As long as we got you off a corner, Mar, that's all I really care about. You know what I mean? Anyway, what I was going to say is one of our milk trucks took a dive this morning somewhere around Dallas, Texas, and nobody was hurt. Everybody was okay. In fact, he didn't even spill the milk, as we say. He tore up his tractor, and the company owner sent another truck over and picked up the load and delivered it. I just want to say this, and Shane, you can jump in anytime you want to. You're a part of this. I am. There is no load in the world worth risking your life for. Okay? I don't want any of my haulers, any of my carriers out there. If you even think for a minute that it is unsafe, stop. Get off the road. We've already had major wrecks this week, a couple of them right around Nashville. Ice, yes, ice, solid ice in Dallas, Texas. We've already had a couple of wrecks this week in some places. I mean, if you go to Wyoming this time of year, and you get on social media and you go, well, they shut down Interstate 80 up here around Laramie. Well, they do that every other friggin' day, and if you don't know that by now, probably you shouldn't be out there, okay? Because they do. High wind, lots of ice. There's nothing to stop it out there. They've tried; it doesn't work. I just want to say to my guys, if you're hauling any of my loads today or any day, if it's not safe, get off the road. Shane, well, jump in anytime you want to. Shane, turn your mic on. Turn your mic on. We can't hear you. Nobody can hear you. We lost him. His sound is not working. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with that. We'll try to get him back. We'll try to get him back here in a minute. Brenson, what's up, brother? Hadn't heard from you in a while. He gone. He back. He back. Hold on. He back. I can hear you now.
Okay, well that's good then, because I don't know what was going on.
Okay, he's back. Anyway, we were talking about driving on ice. Uh, don't do it.
Yeah,
Michelle is in here now. About time Michelle comes dragging in. What's happening, girl? I don't want any of my guys on ice. Okay, you can't control the truck on ice. I don't care who you are.
no,
I don't care how good you are.
absolutely not. And it's the most dangerous when you don't you don't think it's there yet. I mean, like I said, I know you couldn't hear me, but we had 6 trucks within a 5 mile stretch right here in Springfield, all upside down and in ditches. Within the last 24 hours.
You know, we've had the same thing going on around here. And tonight's the first night it's really supposed to ice up in Nashville. We've got it west of us, over toward you, as a matter of fact, in your direction.
Yeah,
A lot of it going on over there. But I'm just telling my guys, there's a baby behind you.
yeah. He's trying to see what's going on.
Mara say my old ass parks. Me too, no doubt. Uh, any of my guys, if you're on here tonight, good, good. I'm glad you're here instead of out there trying to run up and down the road in ice and shit. We don't want it, okay? Uh, I don't want you out there. Anyway, what tonight's show is about, and if Shaggy comes in, he will. Who knows? You never know about him. Uh, but the reason I wanted to get Shane on here is I've known Shane for a long time, and I only ever see him about once a year if I run into him up at Matt's or one of the other truck shows. About the only time I see him. But I've known him for a long time. Uh, Shane's got his truck, Green Miles, his trucking company, out in Missouri, and he's been running for a long, long time. And I like I talk about all the guys I like and all the guys that I think are doing it right, and some of them that are doing it wrong. Shane does it right, and he's been doing it right for a long time. And last time I talked to him, Shane, you were running what, 26 trucks?
We were at 26. We just added a few more. We're right at 30 now. I
Okay,
actually bought the last 3 trucks in the last 2 weeks, and they're already out on the road with drivers in them.
good deal. See, Shane's been doing that for a long time, and what he's able to do that is evidently it's a giant. Hey, you old man. What? Old man. Who in the world is this? Tracy Brown, my brother. Tracy's my brother. I don't care what anybody says. I don't even care what Tracy says. He's my brother. Tracy, we're waiting for you to retire so you can grow your hair out and come on the show with us. And that's what we're going to do. Anyway, Shane's been running his trucks out there for years. He's up to 30. Uh, and when you run into one of his drivers, which I have done, they say nice things about Shane and his company. They don't bitch. I mean, which is in this day and age in this industry is just unusual as hell. But they don't complain. They're not mad. They're not. And I've run into one of them in particular. Shane Tracy, I'm all in, brother. You got a home here. Uh, I ran into one, and just for fun, I tried to recruit him, and he was super nice. He was very friendly. He was super nice, but he was not interested. And I just laughed and I said, "Look, dude, I know Shane." I said, "I'm kind of halfway playing around here." I said, "I know Shane. He's a friend of mine." I said, but I just wanted to see if I could get one of his guys to jump. And he just laughed and he said, nah, I think I'm gonna stay where I'm at for a while. I said, well, okay. Shane, what are you doing over there that you can pass on to these guys? And now tonight, you need to understand on this page, we've got new people starting out. We got people that have been in the business for 30 years. We've got brokers that are starting out and brokers that have been in the business for 20 years. So we got all kinds of people here, but nobody can come up with an answer as to how to get good drivers. And then once you do, how do you keep them? What do you do to keep those guys around? So talk to them. Tell them.
Well, um, to be honest with you, I'm probably gonna grade some people a little bit wrong when I tell them what I do because it's not hard, it's not difficult, it's not complicated. Um, Basically, I start off with I don't recruit. You're recruiting people, you're basically filling them full of a bunch of bullshit that you know you can't hold up to, or they can't hold up to, or you know it's you know trying to trying to fill your trucks for your benefit rather than your driver's benefit. When we bring people on, we tell them the truth. We don't fill anybody full of lies. We don't promise them something that we can't deliver. We put them in a position where they control, what they do and how successful they are, and we focus on bringing on the best people that we can and letting them be the best people that they can. Uh, I've believed for years that people are resilient if you're just honest with them. And uh, trucking is one of these businesses where things go wrong. And if you're straight up with the driver and let them know things are going to go wrong, then they know to expect it, and they know that you're behind them when they do. Um, you don't have to recruit drivers at that point. Your drivers will recruit for you. Uh, I spend a fair amount of time on social media sharing, you know, what my experience is in the industry, and that garners a little bit of attention, but that's 10% of it. I mean, me being out there and being in people's faces is 10% of our success. The other 90% is
Did we lose sound
can you
again?
still hear me in there?
I can now. All of a sudden, yeah. But for a minute, well, we lost him again. Shane must be having ice trouble. Let me tell you while he's reconnecting, and I hope he is. Uh, let me tell you what he's freezing up. Yeah, I think he's got trouble on his end. Uh, I've always said this. I've said this. Frankie is freezing up. Yeah, I get that. I think he's having trouble down there on his end because I don't appear to be here. I mean, I think it's going okay here for me. He's back in there again. Let's try it again.
Okay.
You must be
Um,
having trouble out there, Shane, because mine keeps going good, and usually if anybody goes out, it's me. So
yeah, you know what? I've got you on my iPad right now. I'm starting to think I might need to switch over to my phone. But my iPad streams a little bit of a broader band, so I might be limited on bandwidth.
that might
Um,
be.
yeah. Tell you what, I'll connect my Bluetooth to my phone and connect over to my phone to see if that helps.
Okay.
All right.
Anyway, what I was saying was, and when I think about this, I think about Shane. I think about him and a couple other guys I know. I've got another good friend down in South Georgia that's running about 130 trucks. And he always seems to have all his trucks full. And if you go down there and you talk to him and you talk to his drivers and all this, they tell you a lot of the same stuff Shane's talking about. You tell them the truth. Your best recruiter, I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. It doesn't matter to me who you are. Your best recruiter is going to be the drivers that you've already got. Those are your best recruiters. Those are the people, that run into other drivers on the road, and it seems like everybody and their brother's looking for a job. Okay, they run into other drivers and they see Shane's trucks are very nice equipment. Michelle, I only want to be a person. Know my name. Find out what I can do. Leave me to my job. Don't be bugging me. I'll prove myself to be valuable. Then value me. I think that's what Shane's talking about. I do. I think that's what he's talking about. And I agree, Michelle, 100%. And I know that Shane runs his company that way. But your best recruiters, the drivers that you already have. And you talk about, drivers in trucks, keeping drivers, doing this, doing that. The best job you can do, the best thing you can do, no matter what, the very best thing you can do. Let's see if this works better. You back now?
I am back. Let's see if this does any better.
It sounds better. Sounds different.
Okay.
Yeah. The best thing you can do, your best recruiter is the driver you already got. And the best thing you can do, if you're smart, it makes it hard when you hire drivers that don't care. That's just what I was getting at. And that's what Shane's talking about.
Don't hire them.
Yeah, don't hire them. I know everybody. And if you're a small guy and you got 3 trucks or 4 trucks and 2 of them are empty and you're still making payments, you're going to have a tendency to put the wrong ass in that seat just to get somebody in the seat.
An empty truck is so much cheaper than a bad driver.
Mara, the step decker. I'm on YouTube now. Oh, baby. I love YouTube. Anyway, hiring the wrong guy, putting the wrong girl, the wrong guy in your truck it's worse than not having anybody in there. I know that sounds bad. And I know that a lot of people are struggling because they got 4 trucks and 2 of them are empty. I get it.
I'd rather have all my trucks empty than one bad driver.
Yeah. My last driver cost me $40,000 because he didn't care. I rest my case, guys. How many miles does that truck have to run? How long does it take for that truck to make up $40,000? How long does it take? If they do everything right. I mean, if everything goes right, if they don't tear up a tire, if they don't have, do something stupid, cause the truck to break down, if they don't back into anything, if they don't tear up anything, if they don't tear your transmission up, how long does it take, if everything's perfect, for that truck to make $40,000? Somebody on there says a long time. I'm going to throw this out there and see what you think. A year. Minimum.
I'd say that's fast.
Okay. Yeah, because
I've had some trucks that didn't make $40,000 over 3 years.
Exactly. Because what Shane is sitting there thinking when I say a year, he goes, wait a minute. I got this much money on a truck payment. I got this much money on insurance. I got this much money on maintenance. I got to hire 3 people to be in the office to take care of this person. Safety, dispatch, all this, all that. A year, my ass. And somebody typed in 3 years. Can you not see me, Frank? Hold on. Let me see. Can you not see me, Frank? No, I can't see you, but I'm only, as far as Facebook, I'm only on one page. I'm only on the G3 page. So, no, I cannot see you. I can see the G3 page and I can see YouTube. That's about it. I wish, honestly, God, guys, sooner or later, all this is going to have to go YouTube because I don't know why it is, but YouTube just seems to work better and nobody wants to go over there. Everybody likes being on.
I think Facebook is just a convenience because half the time we're there already.
Yeah. Mara's over there. I'm over there. Ain't nobody else over there. Everybody else is watching on. Everybody is watching on Facebook. The comments are not showing. I can see your comments, Michelle. On Facebook, I can see your comments. but I can't see them. If you're on one of Shaggy's pages, I can't monitor all those pages at the same time. But I look on, there's 26 people watching this now. This is Bobby Green. No, Bobby, I can't see. If you're on Shaggy's page, I can't see you. Because I can only monitor 2 or 3 pages at one time because I'm not that smart. So anyway, we're talking about drivers. We're talking about keeping drivers. We're talking about getting them. Uh, Shane's been good at it for a long time, and I saw Shane at Matt's last year. Shaggy and I were running around terrorizing people, and Shane came walking by, and he was pulling his pull behind luggage, and he had all of his trucking stuff on there, and his lanyards, and he had T-shirts and hats, and he was walking around, promoting his company. And Shaggy and I saw him like way down the hall. I said, "Look, here comes Shane." He said, "Man, look out! I got some pictures of Shane." I said, "Man, leave that on." I said, I said, "Man, leave my man alone." And Shane came up and he's walking around Matt's promoting his company. And his company's got a great name. I mean, he's got a great reputation. So, we ran into him there and stood and talked for a little while. And he said, "Hey guys, I like to stand and talk, but I got to walk around." And he off he goes, promoting his company. So, and I forgot I was at the store. I had to take Jane to the store, but I meant to have one of your shirts on tonight. And I just forgot about it at the last minute. And nobody wants to see me change shirts. I promise you that.
Yeah, actually, I ain't got the shirt on. I ain't got the lanyard on. Hell, I'm not even wearing one of my own hats.
I don't even know where all that is, but I do have the shirts because I wear your shirts all the time. But this time of year is usually like 3 jackets over it because I'm at the shop. Anyway, we're talking about getting drivers. And I think the best thing you can have happen, and I know I've got some recruiters on here, some ladies on here that are only that are in the business of recruiting drivers. I don't know how that works. I've never used a recruiting service. I don't know how they operate. I don't know what they do. Uh, so I don't know how that works. I do know how it works. If a truck driver calls you at 11 o'clock in the morning and said, "I just ate breakfast with one of your drivers. Have you guys got any trucks open?" I do know how that works.
Yeah, yep. That that's how we do. I mean, we get it a lot. Like we've got our friends and family page on Facebook where if anybody asks about our company, we send them there, and most of our drivers are in that group. And basically, what we tell everybody is go to that group and talk to our drivers. Because here's the bottom line: if you come to me, if I went to an owner of a company and asked them about the company, I'm gonna take everything they say with a grain of salt. Anyhow, hell, that they're partial. They should be.
Uh, yeah, and I was the same way. And I'll tell you the truth. Several years ago, I had a partner at the time. I took in a partner. Kind of, I had the company. I had my company. He had his company, and we decided to merge them. And between
Uh-huh.
the two of us, we had 55 trucks, and we ran from here in Nashville. And most of what we did, 85% of what we did, was we ran to California and back, back and forth, back and forth. Back in those days, 20 years ago, that's what we did. And we did the math on the trucks, like you're supposed to do, where you figure out, what your bottom line is for the month, what your fixed costs are. And if you can cover those in the first week and a half to 2 weeks, then everything after that was variable cost. So you were basically back then, you were basically running for 90 cents a mile. And you can't do that now, obviously. That's about $1.30, $1.40 a mile now. But back then, we ran to California and back. And we figured easy math, that if a truck made that third trip a month, that was pure profit. Pure profit. You can't
Yeah,
do that now. All that's over now.
yeah,
Uh, Regulations, e-logs, cost of fuel, all that stuff. You can't do that now. But back then, if the third week of the month rolled around and we had 5 or 6, 12 trucks headed for California, we knew we were going to have a good month. So
yeah.
you can't figure it that way now, and you can't let drivers. And I came in one day. And this Frank was about, I guess, about 20 back then, or 21. And he was sitting in his office, and a guy came in wanting to interview for a driver job. And I sent him back there to Frank. And I kept walking up and down the hall, going back and forth to the shop, and I could hear him in there. And this guy was telling Frank, he was saying, "Yeah, I don't run no East Coast. I ain't doing that shit." And then, I'd walk by again. I hear him, "Yeah, I ain't running on the weekend. I ain't doing that shit. What kind of trucks y'all got?" And I stopped and I stuck my head in there. And I said, "Son, what are you doing?" And he said, "Well, I'm interviewing this driver." I said, "No, you're not. He's interviewing you." And that day, probably more than anything else, that day is the day that I started moving more and more and more away from trucks. I got down to 10 trucks and had 10 great drivers, and I was perfectly happy. Happier than I ever was running 50. So, to the
Yeah.
point of putting the wrong driver in the truck or just putting somebody in there to fill up a seat, you can have 3 trucks running, they still can't support that guy. That, so it's not worth it to me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
how do you go about getting drivers? Do your drivers bring them to you?
A lot of times drivers will bring them. I get a lot of referrals from, drivers' friends wanting to see what they're doing. I mean, when our drivers are successful, their friends see what they're doing and they want part of it. That is a big portion of it. Another portion of it is you know I spend time talking to people and offering advice to other people that are in the industry. And most of the people that I converse with in the industry or across Facebook or at the truck shows don't meet our qualifications. That's one of the big things you have to realize also is you have to generally be out there to help other people, whether it benefits you or not, because there's an old cliche saying that nobody cares how much you know till they know how much you care. And it goes just as much in this industry. I get a lot of friends and friends of friends that we've helped them establish their business, and they get somebody that is looking for a job, and they'll refer them over to us. I mean, whether our driver referrals come from another owner operator or an owner operator works for our company or other people in social media that have seen what we do and generally give us, top referrals. We currently suffer with a problem that I'm sure most carriers would love to have. You know, we don't have to look for drivers. We've currently got a list right now of drivers that want to come to work, and I can't get equipment fast enough for them.
Okay, that said, and I know you have that problem, and I know you're telling the truth. And Laura's on here; she's a recruiter. And Michelle, are you going to Matt's? I don't know, Michelle. I don't know. I won't know until that weekend rolls around and see what kind of mood I'm in. Maybe. I don't know. If I do, I'll call you. Um, I know that you have that. I know that you have a list. I've known that for a long time. That said, and we're going to go back to something we were talking about a minute ago. If 10 drivers come to, Green Miles, your company, to
Uh huh.
apply for a job, out of 10 drivers, how many of those guys do you have to turn away, roughly? Just
I would say probably 8.
for
You know,
different reasons.
mostly because they don't meet our qualifications. Um, you know, our qualifications are pretty stringent, and that's another thing. It's back to sounding cliche again, but quite honestly, if you want good drivers and you want a good reputation in the industry, you got to raise your standards. You know, if if you hire anybody out there, then nobody's worth hiring and want to work for you.
Yeah, where do I go? I will go to YouTube. Are you going to Matt's? I'm a recruiter. Maybe it's working now. What was it? Absolutely. Anyway, I've liked the way Shane's done this for a long time, and you can't argue with the fact that he's got people. Somebody's asking a question, Shane. Did you always have those qualifications even when you just had a couple of trucks?
Yes, I, I, we set our qualifications up really high from the beginning. I took lessons from other companies uh, that when I started in this industry, I set my eye on higher end carriers, big carriers that had really great reputations, and they always had high qualifications. So when I decided that I started this company, I started this company for me. It was just going to be me and my truck and going out there. And when I decided to start allowing other owner operators to come in, one of the biggest things I wanted was to not have to deal with a lot of headaches. So we set our standards really high right out of the box.
So, and Mara's asking what they are. What are your standards?
Well, one of the first things is we will not bring on a driver with less than 5 years experience. Um, that's straight out. Uh, we require a really good um, driving record. As far as work history goes, it really sounds kind of stupid, but if you haven't stayed with one carrier for 12 consecutive months in the last 3 years, we're not going to talk to you. You've got to show us that you can stay somewhere. Um, it really doesn't sound like the standards are all that high, but you'd be amazed how many people can't meet them.
Well, I happen to know that my brother Tracy is still on here, and I'm just going to let the cat out of the bag a little bit. Where I met Tracy uh, was a very, 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 very long time ago. A long time ago. And he and I were both drivers for Walmart. That's where I met him. And back then at Walmart, you had to have 5 years experience. You had to have a perfect safety record. You had to prove all that. And to interview for the company, you had to go through a committee of drivers that interviewed you. Now it's not that way anymore. They're like everybody else now. They're needing drivers real bad, and they're hiring. They've dropped their standards and dropped their qualifications, and all that. But back then, when Stacy and I'll let it slip a bit. When I met Tracy Brown, he and Tracy said, and we had some great drivers, and he's right. And I'll tell you how far back it was, Shane. It was in the '80s. And that's all I'll say about that.
Damn, Walmart had their own trucks back then?
Yeah, a few, not a lot. We didn't have a lot, but we had a few. And Tracy and I were drivers, and we became friends. And I I jumped out of the truck and went into safety, and I was there for about, I don't know, a year or something like that. And I started bugging Tracy. I said, "Why don't you come in here and be in safety with me?" And jump. I said, "Jump in the truck." And I said, "Jump out of the truck and get in here in safety." And Tracy said, "Man, what's wrong with you? What? Why are you messing with me? Leave me alone. I'm perfectly happy. I drive my truck 5 days a week. I make $78,000 a year. I'm investing in stocks and bonds as I go along. Nobody bothers me. I don't bother them. I go in there, I get my load, I deliver it, and I go home. Now, why do you want to mess with me?" Well, I kept on and kept on and kept on. And he and I both wound up going up through the ranks at Walmart, and we both wound up pretty high up there. And then, of course, we went different ways and different things in life. My dad's health started going, so I went to help him, and one thing and another. And Tracy now works for a big company too. So yeah, we play golf every weekend. When Tracy first came in safety, Shane, I got to tell you this story. I was training him to be a safety director. Okay, So we got in the car, and I said, now look, we're going to be gone all week, so pack for the whole week. We're going to be in the car. We're not going to be in the truck, but we're going to be gone all week, and I'm going to teach you this thing. Well, the first thing we did was we went to a golf club that we both heard about, but neither one of us had ever been to, up outside of Jacksonville, called the Ravines. And we went up there and we scheduled a golf tournament for Walmart. And we were walking back to the car. We were walking back to the car, and Tracy looked at me and he said, "That's our job." And I said, "That's the hard part of it. Now we got to go to the beach and get a room for the next couple days." So,
Damn. One of these days I'll have a job like that.
well, uh, we both were pretty good at it, so we kept getting promoted. So it got to be a lot of politics and stuff after that. But anyway, he and I go way, way, way back to the point that he he had a skiing accident, or we said that was what we told everybody. And he had to walk around with a cane for a couple of months there at one time. And we called ourselves Utah and Montana. And anyway, that's enough of that. We had some stories back in those days, and we did some stuff, but we don't do that stuff anymore, do we, Tracy? No, we don't do that anymore.
At least not publicly.
No, 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 no. Tracy says that was a hoot for sure. Yeah, yeah, it was. It was fun. And some of the mentors we had were a hoot. I mean, we had this one guy. We had this one guy. We had this one guy that was one of our teachers, and we'd be driving down the road in the car, and you'd see skid marks, on the pavement. And he goes, "How many vehicles? How fast were they going? And who was at fault? Quick, quick, quick!" He was, and I go, "Fuck, I don't know. What are you talking about? Well, skid marks back there. Oh shit, here we go." Anyway, we're talking about getting and keeping drivers. Walmart used to have those standards. They had a waiting list that was 2 or 3 years long for you to even go in there and get an interview. And then when you did get an interview, if any one of those drivers that you had to interview with, if they said no, you didn't come. You didn't get the job. And they had stacks, I mean stacks of applications. Everybody that was qualified, that you just go grab another one, grab another one, grab another one.
It's an amazing thing when you have a stellar reputation. People want to be associated with you.
Well, the good people do.
Yeah.
To be clear, good drivers want to be with that company. They want to be part of that because they know you're going to protect their driver's license and their safety score, and they know that they're going to protect yours. And it's a like-minded thing. They're in it for the long haul. These other clowns that you see out there that jump from job to job to job to job. I don't know. Yeah, I don't want them. I don't want those guys around me, much less in one of my trucks.
Yeah. Can't get rid of them fast enough.
No.
And unfortunately, it doesn't matter how high your standards are and how much background you do on them and everything. You're going to get one every now and then. You just got to see how fast you can get rid of them.
Yeah, yeah. And in the state of Tennessee, it don't take long. And now we've got our recruiter. I'd love to get her on here one of these days and pick her brain. She says, I want to read this note she put in there. She says, "I have a lot of leads as well from Facebook posts, and I speak to a lot of drivers that don't qualify. But I also share information and answer questions they have, and they always end up giving my number to other drivers that do qualify." You know what we've had, the experience we've had the last couple of years, a lot of people come and they look good on paper and they show up for an interview and they look okay, but they either don't show up for the drug screen or they fail it. We've had a lot of that. And I mean, I never would have guessed it, but that's an issue. That's a real thing.
Yeah. We haven't had any problems with people failing drug screens so far, knock on wood, but we average about 1 out of every 5 people that we schedule into orientation will just not show up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They don't go. I had some. I had some trucks leased to Bob Baylor up in Indiana for a couple of years, and I've known Bob for years and years and years and years since actually since 1979. Bob passed away a couple of years ago, but I had some trucks leased to him. He had, very stringent hiring qualifications, and he had a very extensive orientation. That you had to go there and you had to be there for 4 days, and then the fifth day was all just finishing up paperwork and all that stuff. But you got the sense because I went through it. He invited me up there to go through it one time, and I went through his orientation as a driver, and nobody knew that I was a fleet owner or a friend of Bob's. No, I just showed up like everybody else, and you got the feeling during the course of that week that Bob's people were watching you, you know, trying to trying to learn about you, trying to figure out a little bit about you. And sure enough, at the end of the week, there were a couple people that weren't there anymore. So I don't know. You see a lot of this, and Mara was talking yesterday. There was another bad wreck out west. 40 trucks piled up, 40 vehicles piled up, and you attribute it to training. People aren't being trained anymore, and you know, what are your qualifications there? What do you look for? Well, for 5 years experience, you already know what you're getting, right?
Yeah, I figure if you got 5 years experience, you can have a good driving history, and you've got a good employment history. There's not too much in the behind the wheel I have to worry about. My primary concern after that is your attitude. And how you interact with our customers or our brokers, or you know everything along that line. Because and can you drive the truck efficiently? Because I hate to say it, I mean, I can teach anybody to drive a truck. If you've been doing it for 5 years, you already got your, you know, that part down, except for maybe some efficiencies.
I don't. I've been doing this for a real long time, and what I find out, I haven't been out in a truck for quite a while because I've just been busy here and I've been doing other things. But uh, I need to get back there. But I'll tell you something. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I bought a truck and I thought, you know what? I need to lose some weight and get off my fat ass and get it back out there on the street and practice what I preach, for a while. So I did. I drove it over the summer and I lost about 40 pounds and I felt better and, just all things. But here's something I found out while I was doing that. And no matter how long I've been out there, what kind of truck I drive, and I like the big old redneck, long nose trucks and all, old school big motors, all that stuff. I like all that stuff. But no matter what, I learned something new pretty much every day. And I've been doing this since 1979. That's a long time. But some of these guys that they're too quick with an answer. You know what I mean? It's like, how long you been driving? I've been driving 3 years. Holy shit, man. That's sure ain't very long. I mean, you've only seen 3 winters, if that. That's
Yeah,
scary. That's scary to me.
yeah, it's it's definitely a awakening. I mean, guys that come out there and think that they all got it figured out in the first year or two. They, there's a lot of them out there like that. You know, I, makes me wonder sometimes.
I don't know how they do it. I really and truly I don't. And they've got trucks to the point now where really and truly all you really have to do is is release the brakes and steer it. I mean, they've got sensors all over and that tell you when you get close to somebody. They tell you how fast you can go. They shift the gears for you. They pretty much Like I said, all you really have to do is hit the brake and steer the machine. You don't really have to do a whole lot
They,
anymore.
the trucks have to do that. I mean, the guy doesn't want to miss part of his movie.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's just not. I don't know. That's just not fun for me, and I hate to put it that way, but it's true. That's just not. That's not fun for me. You know.
I'm right there with you. I mean, I I tell people all the time I'm kind of just the opposite of you in a lot of ways as far as the trucks that I buy and the trucks I put on the road and stuff like that because you know I buy the trucks that I think are going to provide the drivers the biggest opportunity for success. But bottom line, when it comes over to my next truck, it's going to be a big old 379 Pete that doesn't make a damn bit of money.
Well, there's that. And if I was like you, if I had 30 trucks running up and down the road, honest to God, I'd probably do the exact same thing you are. You know, trying to make everybody comfortable, trying to make everybody happy, as much as you can. You know, but that's not where I started out. That's not where Tracy Brown started out, and that's not where a lot of people I know started out. We started out just doing whatever needed to be done because that was our job. You know,
Right.
if you're a small company, a small guy, you make your living doing stuff that other people will not do or cannot do. That's what you do.
Yeah.
And Laura says, "What kind of trucks do you have?"
As me personally, the vast majority of our fleet are uh, Freightliner Cascadias with DD15s and automated transmissions. Um, the automated transmissions are primarily because that's what's available on the slightly used market. That's what most people are buying, so that's what we have available to us. But um, we got a couple of Volvo, um, 780s or 860, but that's tends to be what we buy. If it doesn't have a DD15 or a D13 in it, I typically look the other direction.
Tracy Brown wants to know if you service Texas.
We service anywhere in the continental United States. We're in Texas quite often.
Tracy, when we get off of this, when we hang up, I'll send you if it's okay with Shane, I'll send you Shane's contact information and you can call him tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll just text it to you, and then you'll have it. I think I still got your number. I'm sure I do. Hold on. Yeah, I got it. I'll just send it to you. In fact, I'll do that while I'm thinking about it. Shit. I'm still looking for you a truck, Shane. I haven't forgot.
Well, like I say, I'm kind of picky on what I want, and what I want isn't what most people would. I mean, how many people really expect a 379 Pete with a Detroit in it?
Nobody. But a friend of mine, you know, when we first got on tonight, I was talking about Circle C. Laura wants to know how many trucks do you have? He has 30, Laura. We were talking, you know, I was talking about Circle C. I buy a lot of trucks from him, and he buys some from us, and we buy a lot of parts there and stuff. And he's got a big chrome shop and all that. And he's just a friend of mine and Ricky's. He he had a gorgeous. Now it wasn't the one you because it wasn't a flat top. It was the mid roof stand up.
Yeah.
379 Peterbilt up there, and I went up there a couple weeks ago and we went to lunch and I was coming back. I said, "Man, that's a good looking Peterbilt." He said, "Man, I can't give that son bitch away." I said, "What do you mean?" I can't give it away. Oh damn. I said, well, "Why not?" He goes, "We got a damn Detroit in it. Nobody wants it." Oh shit. If it don't have a cat in his world, nobody wants it. But
I mean, I'd be the first to admit. I mean, you come across one with a Detroit in it, it generally is about $10,000 to $15,000 less than it would be if it had a cat.
yeah, every bit, and nobody wants. That's just like Justin, I can't give it away. I can't give it away. Well, he did a couple days later. He gave it away. He sold it.
Yeah.
But it was gorgeous. It was silver gray and it had red and black stripes. It was sharp. It was a sharp truck. But finding those finding those flat tops is harder and harder, man. That we had a flat top and we stretched it out, and let's see. Oh, I'm trying to find some more comments here. We stretched it out to 300, and it had a flat top,
Ooh.
63-inch flat top, and had a big Caterpillar, brand new Caterpillar, 18 speed. Mara says I prefer Detroit's too, and Mara, you know I do. Everybody knows I do. But anyways, truck had the big cat, had the 18 speed, it was all stretched out. And this guy called me from Baltimore, and he's asking me all these questions. I said, "Well, where do you run?" He said, "Well, I'm based in Baltimore." He said, "I run a lot of, up here where I'm at, mostly the Northeast, and there." And I said, "Do you?" I said, "Do you?" I said, "Look, I'll never talk a guy out of buying a truck because that's what I do." I said, "But I got to say this to you." I said, "Do you realize this truck's 300 inches long?" "Oh, yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want." I said, "You want a 300-inch tractor to run around Baltimore, New York, that Northeast corridor?" "Hell yeah. Hell yeah." He said, "I'm telling you right now." He said, "When I pull in a place up here in a truck like that, they'll all look at me." I said, "Yeah, they'll wonder about you."
There's a whole group of guys up in that Northeast corridor that run crazy long trucks.
Well, he came and got it. Paid cash for the truck. Paid cash. Kept it about a month and a half, and he called up. He goes, "What do y'all charge me to cut that down to about 2?" I said, "How about we cut it?" I said, "How about we cut it to 270 so that you can get around?" "That's better. That's better." I said, $7,000, bring it to me. But I spent $7,000 stretching it out, $7,000 putting it back together. But just where it started. But he got the truck he wanted, And I used to like to run west more than anything. Uh, I had a lot of friends out there. I like to run out there. I like it, when it's flat and open and fun and all that. I used to like
Sure.
280, 300 was a lot of fun, but anytime one of my customers would call up and they go, "I got 4 drops, 3 of them are in the city, and the last 2 are in Boston," and I had to do that, oh, I'd be cussing that wheelbase out.
Yeah.
And when my
Yeah.
dad was still alive, I'd call my dad, "Where you at?" "I'm on my way to my second drop in Boston." "In that damn truck?" "Yes, sir. Yes." "Boy, I
Yeah.
don't know what you're thinking. Why didn't you take a cab over up there?" "Well, I don't have one. I don't own one."
Yeah. I couldn't imagine something that long up there. I've run a couple of 265s, 270s up around Hunts Point and Chelsea Market, but that's about as big as I've gotten.
That's as big as you need to be up there. I mean, it's just, it's just. And you were picking on me the other day because I said something on my page about I bought a couple of Cascadias and I drove one and I liked it, and I got to confess, I do. If I was going to run a steady diet of food warehouses, and I was going to run a steady diet of east of the Mississippi, they're comfortable as hell. They just are. They ride good. They handle good. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Almost as good as a Volvo.
Well, you keep telling me that. Uh,
I tell you what, I've
somebody's
had more
asking
guys
you.
get in Volvos
Somebody's
than
asking you. Hold on. Let me see if I can find out here.
sure.
Laura wants to know if you work with a lot of shippers or brokers since you have a lot of trucks.
The vast majority, I would say probably 90% of our freight is brokered freight, spot market. Um, we've got a few direct customers. We do some direct eggs. We do some direct nursery stock and stuff like that, but it's very small percentage of what we do.
Well, see now you let the dog out, you let the cat out of the bag when you said eggs, because everybody knows that's $1 million load these days.
Yeah,
Good deal. We used to
yeah,
haul eggs in tankers out of Indiana, and that was a thing for a while. That was a big deal for a while.
that would be interesting. I guess it'd be scrambled by the time they got there.
They'd be stirred up. I tell you what, it was very dangerous. Very dangerous. We lost the driver one time because he climbed up there and opened a tank that had been sitting out on the lot for about a week and got hot.
Ooh,
Yeah, the fumes got him. All he
oof,
did, all he did was spin the top open, and it got him just like that.
wow,
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
sad, sad, sad thing. Um. Anyway, guys, to recap, because we're coming up on an hour, but and you notice Shaggy didn't show up. Did y'all notice that? Shaggy didn't show up. This is we used to do those shows on Wednesday night, Shaggy and I can't tell you how many times I'd haul ass home running 80 miles an hour, or skip dinner with my wife, or do this or do that just to make it there, and he didn't show up. So I don't do that anymore. If he wants to get on there and rah, 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 for an hour, do you have a plan? Do you have a plan? Do you diversify? Diversify your plan. Make your plan to diversify. If he wants to do all that, great. Great. And if he wants to be on my show, he's my friend. He can always get on my show. But I never schedule him. But to recap, Shane's got 30 trucks. He's been in business. How long, Shane?
Started the business in 13. We started bringing on other drivers probably 3 years after we started. So I'd say we've been a multi truck carrier for about 6, 7 years.
So a lot of people on my channel, a lot of people on Shaggy's channel are starting out and they're trying to build up and they're looking for a way to do what you're doing. And I always get mad at them and jump them. Don't count on the spot market. Don't count on broker freight. But I know that a new startup company with 2 or 3 trucks probably doesn't have the kind of relationships that you have. And they don't understand that that relationship causes the brokers to send you freight before it ever gets on the load board.
Sure.
And that's critical because the rates are different, the loads are different, everything's different. They're using a guy they trust, a guy they try, will take care of their freight, will pick it up on time, deliver it on time, and not tear it all apart. So that's a very different thing that we try to teach people to do. But this is Shane's way of doing things. If you're starting out and you got 2 trucks or 3 trucks and you want to grow your company, watch Shane. He's building his shop now, and that took him a long time to get to that point. He's got his 30 trucks now. He's got his dispatch office. He's got a great reputation. I will tell you that he does, and if he didn't, I would tell you that too. But he does have a great reputation. Everybody knows him. Everybody respects him in the business. Okay? Watch what guys like him do. Listen to what they're telling you. Keep your driver standards high. You're better off, honestly, God, people. You're better off. If you can't get a good driver to go in your other truck, sell it. Get rid of it. Try again. Don't put the cart before the horse.
Yeah. Slow and steady wins the race every time. Don't try to outpace your growth. Don't go out and buy 10 trucks and worry about feeding drivers into them, because that'll screw you every time.
Laura's wanting to know, how did you build up? A lot of owner-operators or just drivers?
I started off with owner operators. I brought on 3 owner operators. I bought a couple trailers, put them in there, and then I started a lease purchase program because one of my owner operators' truck burnt down, and he was actually my best driver. So, and he wasn't in the position to buy another truck. So, at that point, I made a decision. I went out and bought 3 used trucks, offered one to him as a lease purchase, and then seeded the other 2 as lease purchase. And that's our primary focus right now is owner operators and lease purchases. Um, we've successfully signed over since Mid America last year. We've signed over 6 trucks to our drivers.
So what do you find when you do that? Because let me throw this out. We've done that. I've done it a couple times. I've quit a couple times. I've done it. I quit. You find the right guy. You put him in a truck. But so often we would see, I'd put a guy in a truck, and he'd get out there and run, and run. The first 3 or 4 months, just run. And then his wife would show up on Friday to pick up his check in a brand spanking new Denali. brand new. And then a couple weeks later, he'd come in there and he'd go, boss, y'all just running me too damn hard. I'm not getting any time off. My wife's staying pissed off. I'm just running too hard. And you go, okay, we can ease up. So I go out there and tell dispatch, hey, you guys are running Freddie too hard. His wife is mad. He ain't getting any time off. So they ease up on Freddie a little bit, back up on. Then 2 weeks later, he comes in and he goes, man, y'all ain't running me enough. My wife's madder than hell because I ain't making no money and we got all these payments to make. And I bought that boat. That guy's not going to be with you long. Tracy
No.
says, does he provide the authority? Yes, Tracy, he does.
Yeah.
Yes.
I will say the scenario you were just talking about, we've managed to avoid that because um, we've taken that adversarial situation out where dispatchers and drivers are working against each other, or the dispatcher trying to screw me or that. We don't have dispatchers. All of our drivers dispatch themselves.
How do they do that?
They
Kind
all,
of kind of walk us through that.
well, um, starting off, everybody got it. Has their access to the load boards. Everybody has developed their own relationships with certain brokers, and we've got um, loads that are offered to us through a specific email address we use for our incoming load lists, and offers that the drivers get to see. When the driver sees something that they're interested in, or if one of the brokers that they have a particular relationship in talks to them, they negotiate their own rates. We spend a lot of time uh, educating drivers as to what lanes are good, what lanes aren't, which lanes are coming up that are going to be hot, so that they have the information that they need in order to make educated decisions. And then we've got other drivers. One of our drivers, Tom, probably the best negotiator I've ever come across. I've actually watched that guy negotiate a load, and the broker come back and go, I don't know how he did it. He quoted me one price, and I ended up paying him more.
You know, that is such a that's such a complicated thing, and people don't get it. They think you go out, you buy a truck, you buy a trailer, you get your insurance, you go do this, you go do that, and then you get up every morning, you turn on DAT, and you're in business. No, you're
Yeah.
fucking not. You are not. You are not. There is a time of the year to go to certain parts of the country. There is a time of the week to go to certain parts of the country. There is a time of the year and the week and the month to haul certain loads of freight. And guys, if you don't know these things like Shane's talking about, if you don't know these things, you're the guy that gets on Facebook and go, I got down here in Miami, got $3.12 a mile, everything's $1.05 coming out. Fuck them. That's you,
Yeah.
because you didn't know any better. I
Yeah.
know a guy from right here in Nashville that pulled a load out of Leesburg, Florida yesterday afternoon at 3 o'clock for $3.84 a mile to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Leesburg, middle Florida.
Leesburg.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
It sounds like something that we're doing a lot of right now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They didn't have enough of you to cover it, so they reached out. You know what I'm saying? Because
With the,
those loads go to guys that haul for them all the time.
yeah, and we've actually got three guys that live down in Georgia and Florida that service, I believe, possibly the same customer 9 months a year.
There you go. There you go. You need to send your little girl driver over here to Nashville to buy me lunch.
Uh,
She
yeah,
needs to
well,
take me and Frank to lunch because we were promoting her before she even came to your company.
well,
She's
she's
funny.
she's talking like she may be at Matt's this year.
Oh, good. Good. Because I think the whole crew is going to be there. I know Trucker G's going to be there selling all his spice stuff. And Bull Snot guys are going to be there. Tony Justice is going to be there. All those guys that I know over on that side of the world are going to be there. So she might as well come and show up too. I
Right?
think, I
Yeah.
think, uh, who else? Oh, a bunch of people, a bunch of people.
Yeah. I say we're definitely going to have several of our drivers down there, and we got a big old Airbnb that we got rented. So
See, that's the thing with me. That's why people ask me, Frank, are you going to Matt? See, it's only 2 hours from me. You know,
yeah,
so if I get up in the morning and look out the front window and I tell my wife, I go, she goes, "Are you going to that thing in Louisville?" I go, "Yeah, I don't think so. It's pouring fucking rain. Get back in bed."
maybe
And that's,
tomorrow.
yeah, maybe tomorrow. Is it still going tomorrow? I don't care. I'm not going today. I'm pouring rain. I ain't going nowhere. But I go up there and Shane, that's something else you and I need to talk about. Most of the time when I do go up there, if it's halfway decent, I ride my bike up there.
Yeah,
Because I can pull up right on that west side of the building over there where they got the big awnings and shit. They'll let me pull right up under there and park my bike right there.
really.
Yeah, I don't have to hunt for a spot. I don't have to walk 3 miles. I just pull right up in there. And the security guy just waves at me. I go, "Hey, how you doing?" And I
Yeah, I've been thinking about bringing my bike the last couple times. Just that time of the year is usually not very nice.
It's cold as shit. It's either or. And you don't know. Like I said, you get up in the morning, look out the window, and decide whether you're going or not.
Right.
But I call Frank. He lives right up the road. And I'll call him and go, "You want to go to this Matt's thing?" And he'll go, "Yeah, call me in an hour." Why? That means no. That means he's not going. So I don't know. I went up there last year, and I'm glad I did. I walked around, but if you've never been there, if you've never been to Matt's, you're not. You guys, if you've never been, you're not going to see it in one day. You're not gonna. You're gonna. I mean, if
You're
you
not
want to,
going to see it in 1 year.
no, if you want to pick out, say 5 or 6 places, people that you want to see or things you want to go, you can do that. But as far as going around Matt's and seeing everything there is to see there, there's no way in the world you'll do it in one day. No, really, there's no way you'll do it in two. You just won't. It's too big. It's massive. It's big. And
Yeah.
put on your damn walking shoes when you go, because you're gonna walk a lot all day long. Or you do like Gerald did, Trucker G, and run one of them little old lady carts, run around, run into people's knees and shit.
Yeah. I keep thinking about those little scooters that they rent out, the the bird scooters that they used to send out in Dallas. I wonder
Yeah,
if I could get
yeah.
away with riding one of them around in there.
See, no, Shane, I loved your article you wrote about the purge. I didn't write any articles. I didn't write any articles. I write stuff all the time. You won't see it on a trucker thing. It's not where it is. Anyway, Shane, thank you for coming. It's been an hour. I don't usually like to keep people more than about an hour because, their interest starts to wane, and then mine does, kind of right after that. So we've had them for an hour. Guys, if you need to get hold, I'm on a knee scooter. This might be tough. No, you're on. That's the perfect machine to take there. That's perfect. The
Uh,
little
I,
scooters they got. What do they call those little things? They're little
I,
4-wheel, huh?
yeah, the little knee rovers. I've done mats on one of those when
Yeah.
I had a really bad gout attack 1 year, really bad.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Somebody saying Mara says thanks Shane Ferris. Michelle,
No,
the
I,
knee scooter's perfect.
yep,
It's
I,
perfect.
I definitely appreciate y'all having me on this, and
Oh man, you get
hopefully
on
if we
here
do it
anytime
again,
you
I
want.
get a little bit better at talking. I'm not too used to this yet.
Nah, it comes to you. But guys, Shane owns Green Miles. He's that's his company. If you see his equipment, he's got excellent equipment. You're mostly reefer, aren't you, Shane?
Yeah, we're about 95% reefer.
Okay. Good night,
Yeah,
Mark. Good night,
we got
everybody.
one guy that runs power only, and we got one guy that runs dry van. We have a couple of extra dry vans if anybody needs some logistics type stuff done because we got like um, you know higher end dry vans for concerts and trade shows and stuff like that. We're not going to put it to work for cheap
Well,
regular dry
if
freight.
Tracy Brown, if you see Tracy Brown trying to call you, take his call. He's a good guy.
Okay,
He's a good guy.
absolutely.
Anyway, thank you very much, guys. I'm gonna let Shane jump off of here. Hold on here, Shane. Thank you, man. Come back anytime. You're welcome anytime.
Absolutely.
Okay, guys, an hour and 10 minutes, man. That's a long time. I never let people keep people awake that long. Um, let's do this again. Next week we'll come up with some other stuff. We'll talk about drivers, talk about anything. I went back and watched that show I did a couple weeks ago about government stuff, and I did not like it. And I'll tell you the reason why. I spent the whole time talking about how bad FEMA was, instead of talking about the different things that you can do and you can get involved in, with the government to make a lot of money. So I wanna go back to that. Uh, I want to revisit that, and and I want to do over. I guess that's the best way to put it. I want to do over on the government stuff. Let me spend a little bit of time and make some phone calls and stuff and do some research, and we'll do that again. And hopefully we can all get more out of it next time around. But anyway, thank you guys for coming. Appreciate it. Oh, there's Shaggy. There's Shaggy. Look, there's Shaggy. He said, "Great, Shaggy. It's fucking over. Get it? It was an hour ago. Yeah. Okay. Right now, Shaggy's here. Not for long. Hey, love you guys. I mean it. Have a great week. A really good week. If we can help you in any way, any of our pros, any of these guys, please let us know. We'll be glad to do it. I love you guys. Take good care of each other because you know what? Nobody else is. Have a good one.